I've got the story, Are We There Yet? By Dan Santat. And I'm gonna show you what questions to ask your kid when you read this book together so that you get the most out of reading comprehension. The themes developed in this book are boredom, the power of imagination, the subjectivity of time, savoring the present, family connection, and creativity. Are we there yet? All right. Okay, first question, central idea. What does the main character want to do? What is getting in his way? The main character wants to get to this family celebration. They're celebrating his grandmother's birthday. He's actually excited about it. What is getting in his way? It's a long car ride and now he's bored. And before he can get to this thing that he wants to go to, that he's excited to go to, he has to deal with this long, boring car ride. So right from the beginning, we've got the themes of like family connection and boredom. All right. Next question, integrating visual information. What detail can the illustrator show better with pictures than with words? Okay, so now this kid is like going into like a delirium of boredom an hour and a half into this car ride to see his family. And that is demonstrated through the illustrations because one, now the illustrations are upside down. The next like 5 or 6 pages of this story are upside down. So that kind of shows like, you know, the kid's just like delirious with boredom, but his mind is also wandering and he's actually being extremely creative. And when you look at the pictures, notice that they are going back in time. So he's imagining things. He's like, oh my God, this car ride is taking so long. It feels like time is going backwards. And his imagination is also going like back in time. Here, he's imagining a train. So I don't know if you've ever like had a car ride that's so long and boring, it feels like time is going backwards, but that's what this kid, that's what's going on with this kid. The ride is long, it's boring, he's delirious with boredom, and yet his creativity is, and his imagination are turning on, and it feels like time is going backwards, but now he's imagining that he's going back in time. So it's a little, I don't know, it's very creative and very imaginative in that way. So that was a train, now this is a train, like the Wild West, keeping going back in time. Now this is a pirate ship. And we have a question here, integrate visual information. What role do the illustrations play in describing the main character's experience? So without the illustration, you wouldn't like really get what was going on in this kid's imagination as he is like in this delirium of boredom. The car ride is going so slow, it feels like time is going backwards and he is imagining time going backwards. It never says that, but you have to look at the illustrations and like understand what's happening in his mind in the story and his imagination only through the illustrations. So, but in the illustrations, like if you look at him, he's always extremely bored. In this one, he feels very sick. But he's like being super creative at the same time. And that's only shown through the illustrations. Here, this is like a knight jousting thing, so they're still going back in time. This is like ancient Egypt. There's the pyramids going back in time. Roar, now there's dinosaurs still going back in time. And apparently this kid loves dinosaurs because there's like a little heart there. And this kind of like snaps him out of his boredom. Okay, central idea. What was the turning point when the main character learned something new? Okay, so when he starts imagining the dinosaurs, it's almost like a light bulb goes off. This kid must really like dinosaurs because all of a sudden, in the picture here, he's like really happy and excited and he doesn't look bored anymore. So it's almost like he realized that what fun was going on in his imagination and is like now getting into that fun and excitement that his imagination took him to, something like that. He's being super creative, super imaginative. He's starting to conquer the boredom And in a way, we're starting to get to the theme of like savoring like whatever time and place and moment you're in, regardless of how bored you are, because he is still super bored, but he is finding a way to like make it enjoyable, which is one of the themes in the book that we're getting to, like savoring the present, making things enjoyable, appreciating moments. Now we got the pirate and the cowboy and the dinosaur all together. So this is all of his time travel imagination stuff that we've been through. Now we are in the future. So now his imagination is just still running wild. They are still on this car trip. Now they're still in the future and they finally arrive. We are here. Okay, so this is still getting into like, you know, kind of like savoring boredom, embracing it, being creative with it, using your imagination with your boredom. And next question, central idea. What has the main character learned at the end of the story? So of course he's learned to like savor the present moment and like to conquer his boredom with his imagination, his curiosity, and appreciate moments of boredom, you know, with whatever way you can. And we're also getting back into the theme of family connection because they've arrived at their grandmother's house. The kid's very excited to see his grandma. But integrate visual information. Last question. What do illustrations tell us about the main character and event that words don't? Okay, so I covered up this part, but like if you can see in the illustration, when he's at this party with his grandma, he has like great aunts and uncles like pinching his cheeks, and that is annoying to him. And he's like, can we go now? So this is showing us like it's not always easy to embrace moments and appreciate the present moment where you are with patience, because now he's like, can we go? He wants to go. So it's not easy, but it's easy to take for granted. So kind of like before, it's gonna require some patience for him to manage to savor this moment that he was very much looking forward to, even though now he's kind of like, But it's still important to savor the time with all of his family, all of his older family members. And you can see the grandmother is unwrapping a gift. She has a clock there. I'm sure that's no accident. Time is a gift. And that is the end of this book. So a great book about boredom and how to cope with it with creativity and imagination, and savor boredom and appreciate the present in any way you can. So that is Are We There Yet by Dan Santat.